Ladies and gentlemen, this video is not clickbait. On the 6-year anniversary of signing my first client back in August of 2016, I'm shutting my agency down. 6 years of blood, sweat, and tears, a 6-year journey that took me from a broke high school student to a multi-millionaire. And most importantly, accomplish the outcome that I had from the beginning, which was take care of me and my mom and then eventually retire her. Now, there's a few things I want to talk about in this video. First, I need to talk about sort of where I'm at in my career and how my different businesses slot into my vision. Second, I'll explain why I'm actually making this sacrifice and what goal it is contributing towards. And lastly, I will explain why I'm still more than knowledgeable after 6 years to help people start and scale their agency, but also the outside experts that I've brought into my e-learning company, Greer Agency, over the space of the year to sort of fill in the gaps where I'm just not as sharp as I used to be. Now, I could have quietly shut down my agency and sort of continued on as if nothing had happened, but in the spirit of the last 6 years, sharing my agency journey and my journey, as I said, from broke to multi-millionaire here on YouTube, I just thought I'd be transparent and give you guys a full update. So let's start off with the first point, which is kind of where I'm at with my career and how my different businesses slot into it. And in order to explain this, I need to use a concept that I've used in the past, which is market timing and career timing. Now, market timing is basically how good of an opportunity something is considering sort of the market conditions. For example, you could have been an incredible entrepreneur, but if in the year 2020, you started a newspaper company, as in like a physical newspaper company, you probably wouldn't have done very well. Whereas if you were that same entrepreneur in terms of the skill set in the 1980s, you could have been a multi-millionaire, who knows, even maybe a billionaire. So when it comes to that front, which is market timing, starting and running an online boutique marketing agency is in its absolute prime when it comes to market timing, because now the world is catching up to the things that I was doing back in 2018. And these are really a few key pillars that I introduced all the way at the beginning of 2018. And that's really when I went from making a cute few $100,000 a year to $1 million plus. And really it's 3 pillars, which is an all remote team, which I've had from basically day one. This means that you can look all across the globe and hire the best talent, and you get to pay them 10 to 20% what you would have to pay someone in the US, because quite frankly, it's just living costs, right? Like you could be paying them 20% of what you're paying someone in California, and they're living 3 times the quality of life because of basically just currency conversions and stuff like that. And the best part is you're changing a lot of these people's lives because you're paying them most of the time double what they would be making locally, but now they're making that with you. But you also have the benefit of paying them, as I said, 20% what you would have to pay someone in London, Paris, New York. So that is pillar number 1. Pillar number 2 is the ability to sign clients globally. I was doing Zoom calls. I made the decision summer of 2019, I'm going to do no more physical meetings when it comes to signing a client. It will all be via Zoom. It didn't matter if, back in the time I was living in London, it didn't matter if someone was also based in London. I would only do Zoom exclusively. And the last pillar, specialize and focus in on one niche and one service. Now, when I was making $80,000 a month profit at the age of 18 back in 2018, and I was using these core pillars, I was really swimming upstream. Like I was working against what was industry norms and industry standards. But with everything that went on in 2020, the world changing, your clients will expect that you have no office. They'll expect that you're signing clients internationally. They'll expect that you have a global workforce. And obviously everything's done on Zoom now. And it's for that reason that my style of teaching, starting an online boutique agency works better now than it ever has. And that really showed it in 2021, where at my agency, IAG Media, we had our best year, and we also had our best single month at $160,000 in profit. By the way, when I speak in these numbers, I don't ever talk about revenue, only profit, because really that's the only thing that matters at a cash flow focused agency. So the time to start an online boutique marketing agency has never been better. But here is where we get into career timing. See, what gets you from one point to the next won't get you from that to the other. Between the space of 2016 to 2021, I used my agency to go from 0 to 8 figures after tax. Now I need to focus on the next phase of my career, which is going to 9 and multi 9 figures. As I said, in that 5-year span between 2016 to 2021, I produced millions in cash flow from my agency, and I always had a philosophy, which was invest anywhere from 50 to 80%. As I made more money, basically that percentage would go higher. So I took all that money and I basically invested along the way. As a lot of you guys know, I made a lot of money with crypto. I very publicly put $1 million from my agency business bank account in December of 2020. And publicly on YouTube, 6 months later, I posted my $7 million crypto portfolio, and then 5 days later it was worth 3.5 million. And the next peak we had, I learned my lessons and basically learned that I needed to take more profits. So between that, you guys also know that I invest a lot in watches, and I've made quite a lot of money there, as well as a few other miscellaneous investments. So as I said, between the millions that the agency produced in cash flow over the year, I was able to then invest it and multiply it. Because here's the thing, a lean boutique online marketing agency is the best way to make 500K to 1.5 million a year in profit, full stop. I know because I have 5 businesses. Like I have businesses in e-commerce, SaaS, e-learning, agents. Like I can speak from experience here. And the best part is it's the most hands-off after 2 years. If you did what I did, which was find an incredible CMO, shout out Danny. Basically after 2 years, you get a CMO, you give him profit share like I did with Danny, and this person's, really incentivized to run the company, grow it, etc., etc. And that is all great. The fact that I was basically able to use my agency to in 5 years go from 0 to 10 million, that's great, but that's not going to get me to 100 to 500 million. And that's really the goal. So you need to understand that each business has its pros and cons when it comes to career timing. And quite frankly, I'm at a stage where I am good for money. I never really need to work for money ever again. And I know that a lot of people will be very happy in my situation and basically be like, dude, you won the game at 22. Like, that's it. Go to Bali, go to Cape Town, go travel the world, Medellin, relax. I'm just not wired like that. I wish I was, because my life would be a lot more peaceful, but I'm not. Like, I want that next goal. And that really brings us on to the next part of the video, which is why I'm actually making the sacrifice. Like, what is the sacrifice for? And to give you a very quick answer, it is